Hey guys, welcome back to INSANEBRIT Gaming. I am the INSANEBRIT, and this is this week's News Friday, where I talk about all the week's gaming news, gaming topics, and some anime news if I find it. We have a lot to talk about, or a couple of stories. I'm going to break this video up. I'll just pause it whenever I need to have a break or just move on to the next article or whatever, you know, just so I focus on one subject at a time. But before we do get started, I would like to say I've had a lot of interest via Instagram about my merchandise. Now, I don't understand that, because in every single video, gameplay or otherwise, FIFA Sims, whatever, I simply say the following at the end of the video: if you want to check out my merchandise, it's in the link in the description below, or you can donate to me via PayPal. That's up to you. So yeah, I have updated it, and I've got some phone covers there for iPhone and one or two other phones, whatever, if you want to check them out, along with some other stuff as well. So yeah, they've updated the shop, so I've added some more products to it. So don't forget to check out that link in the description below. I would like to come out with some new designs at some point, but of course it's going to cost me to have people to design those designs, and then I can put them on t-shirts and stuff like that, whatever, you know what I mean. And I say I've got to do that because I can't use copyrighted materials and stuff like that off the internet or whatever, you know what I mean. It's not safe. I wouldn't do that anyway, but I think I've used some things for thumbnails, but at the same time, no one complains about that. But to put them on a t-shirt and sell them, I don't think that would be a very smart move. So I'd have to actually pay someone to design something, and then I'll put it on a t-shirt, and you know, that you got just to update it and make it a little bit better. But if you are interested in my merchandise, like I said, the link is in the description below. Anyway, now that I've got that part out of the way, I want to talk about the video game tax. Yes, do you remember months and months ago, I said, I can't remember the specifics of the story, but I remember saying that they were going to use it as an excuse to charge us more for video games, PlayStation games, whatever, around the spectrum. And that is essentially what is happening, well, at least in Pennsylvania at this point, if it goes through. Lawmakers in Pennsylvania, so this is one particular state in America, by the way, but it could spread to other states. Who knows? You just don't know what's going to happen, and who knows, maybe even other countries start adopting it. I hope not, but there you go. But we're talking about America specifically, but it's still interesting nonetheless, because you have to keep an eye on these kind of things. Lawmakers in Pennsylvania have put forth a bill that proposes a 10% excise tax on violent video games. House Bill 109 seeks to impose the so-called sin tax. I fucking hate that word, by the way. It's been used in other countries as well. The sin tax. I think they use it like for drinking as well, or that terminology. On games. Sin tax on games sold at retail that are rated by the ESRB as M for mature and adults only. So ESRB of the people that rate games or whatever. M for mature and adults only, which is like Grand Theft Auto, Killzone, whatever, you know what I mean? And Call of Duty, I suspect, as well. The money will go into a fund called the Digital Protection for School Safety Account. So let me read that again. All the money from the tax would go into the Digital Protection for School Safety Account. Okay, so you're like, what the fuck is that? That aims to enhance security measures at school in the wake of the school shootings in Parkland, Florida, and Newton, Connecticut. So they're going to blame a mass shooting on video games. Well done. Well done. Haven't heard that one before, huh? State Representative Chris Quinn, cunt, as I've been calling him, a Republican, initially put forth the bill in 2018, but it never made it out of the committee during the 2018 legislative session. The new version is similarly worded. Now, if the bill doesn't get through, they basically just reword it a little bit, and essentially, if it's good enough for one or two people, and it might just sneak through. Hopefully it doesn't, and it gets laughed out the room, but whatever. The 10% tax would be in an addition to the actual state taxes and local taxes. So basically, whatever the game costs, that state has taxes. So if a game costs 40, and then the state has a general tax, it'd be like, what, it might cost you 60, I don't know, if it's 60, and then they put £4 on it, $4, whatever, that's 64, so you're paying around 64. But, so you'll have that, and then you'll have the additional tax. So let's talk numbers anyway. So, Local tax. The sales tax rate in Pennsylvania is 6%, which means a standard $60 game cost around $64. Okay, so you're paying $64 currently. Now, with this extra 10% tax on violent video games, the cost of M-rated games like Red Dead Redemption 2 would make the game end up costing about $70. So basically, you'd be paying $70 for a game. I mean, when the PS3 came out, I think they were trying to charge us £40 brand new, and then it went, and in certain store I went in was ended up selling him for 35. No, that was PS2. PS2 was about 35, 38 for a new game. PS3 was 40 on average, and a little bit more, sometimes 44. Then the PS4 came out, and they tried to charge us £60 for a game. And then it ended up being 50. And even then, I was like, fuck you, I'm not paying that. In Australia, they actually charged $90 for video games. Like, I don't know about the violent ones, but I hear it's $90. And fuck you, I'm not paying that for one game. You're fucking nuts. But anyway, I mean, I know they're expensive, but it is what it is. So how do you feel about that, Pennsylvania, or anybody actually having to pay $70? I know if it came to the UK, it'd be different slightly. It would be like, you know, it might be like 60 on average, because I know it's like 50 over here on average, 46, 50, but who knows? I mean, it's just a state talking right now, but who knows? Explaining this bill last year, Quinn said violent video games might, this is the man himself saying it, might be an element in the rise of school shootings in America, and one factor that may be contributing to the rise in and intensity of school violence is the material kids see and act on in video games, he said. Shut the fuck up. It's the same old argument. Basically, if a child plays a video game, he's much more likely to go out and shoot fucking people. Bullshit. It's not the case at all. In that respect, you know, if you play Fortnite, of course that's got shooting in it, but you also build fucking walls. You know what I mean? You'd be fucking, I don't know, what, Trump would have his wall by now, you know what I mean? Fuck off. All the gamers would have done it, you know what I mean? What a fucking moron this guy is. Quinn cited the National Center for Health Research's statement that studies demonstrate a link between violent video games and increases in aggressive thoughts and behaviors. Thoughts and behaviors. Oh, I thought about something aggressive. Woo, arrest me. Fuck off. It's a fucking joke. Okay, yeah, so where was I? Quinn's comments conveniently leave out the same statement's disclaimer that other factors like mental illness, access to weapons, and adverse environments should be considered as other risk factors. So basically, you know, yes, people play video games, but there's you've got to look a little bit deeper into it. You don't just put on a game and turn violent, because then everyone would be like that. You know, people have a bad day, people get angry in general, people do have mental health issues, you know what I mean? It is what it is, and he ain't taking that into consideration, plus their environment and all the rest of it. Not only that, but the National Center of Health Research's own reporting studies have shown that aggression leads to increased incidents in deadly violence or criminal activity. So basically they're saying that the same study states that the studies have not shown that aggression leads to increased incidents of deadly violence or criminal activity. So you might have a bit of aggression or be a bit pissed off and throw your joypad, but it doesn't mean you're going to go out and kill someone or punch someone on the street. It's ridiculous. Most people are pretty well-rounded and just know it's just a game. There might be an exceptional one or two crazies out there, or young kids that get influenced, but my response to kids and all that kind of thing, what are they doing playing 18-rated games anyway, or mature? Punish the fucking parents who gave them the game and say, what the fuck are you doing? And leave the rest of us the game. Fuck that. So there are always going to be incidents in this world of one or two nutty people doing something stupid and crazy, but it shouldn't reflect the, reflect the rest of us kind of thing. Expectedly, the Entertainment Software Association, which lobbies on behalf of the video game industry, is taking a hard line against this bill. In a statement in Variety, the ESA, the bill is a violation of the US Constitution. Numerous authorities, including scientists, medical professionals, government agencies, and the US Supreme Court, found that video games do not do not cause violence. It said, we encourage the Pennsylvania legislators to work with us to raise awareness about parental controls and the ESRB video game rating system, which are effective tools to ensure parents maintain control over the video games played in their home. Now, the PlayStation, there's no excuse now for the parents neither. You have all these freaks lining up saying Call of Duty is bad and blah, blah, blah. And yet, there's parental controls on the system now where you can say whether your kid plays certain rated games, and if there's a rated game he puts in, like his dad's Call of Duty and he's age 7, he can't play it because there's a rating system on his account and you control that, and basically he can't access that. He has to play fucking Minecraft or something, you know what I mean? So there's no excuse for parents these days. If you know, if it's just fucking laziness. It is what it is, but I suggest you learn about that shit. You can easily Google it. Everyone's got Google and YouTube. What the fuck? Anyway, on with it. After the Sandy Hook shooting, a lawmaker from Connecticut proposed a similar tax in 2013. Also that year, a state representative of Missouri proposed a sales tax on games rated M and above. In both cases, the funds would have gone towards mental health programs. However, the bill never became law. Well, that is pretty much the article, and I know that's one story. It's gone on for 11 minutes. But yeah, so this state, Pennsylvania, trying to oppose a tax on video games. It's just a violent one, supposedly. Hold on, guys. I've got an ad popping up here now. There we go. But yeah. So, what do you think about that? Paying $70 for a game. I don't like the sound of it. I know it's only like a $6 increase, but it still pisses me off, that rounded number of 70. Fuck that shit. And it's unjust, really, and it's just an excuse. We all know what this is really about. This is about gun laws, and rather than go down the route of gun laws and gun control and all the rest of it, they're shifting the blame. It's a political move. We can see it's 10,000 miles off. A political move to shift the blame from guns to and gun ownership and all the rest of it to video games. It's just a distraction, and we all know it's bullshit. The gamers know it's bullshit. The industry insiders know it's bullshit. Fuck, even the study says it's bullshit, but they're pushing that logic anyway, and I'm hoping that don't get through, because there seems to be a lot of pushback towards it, and like, fuck out of it. The proof is just ridiculous, and everyone's saying it, and if it passes, it'd be a fucking joke. But anyway, so hopefully that does not come to pass. But I did say that they were trying to push for it, and they have, and hopefully that shit don't get through and it don't spread, and you know, it's just a political move, and we can all see it. Alright, my next story is relating to machinima. Now this story, I'm just going to kind of brush over it to a point, but machinima, you remember that big network? It had Rooster Teeth and a bunch of other, it's like an umbrella network. It's one big network, and it had loads of like little companies around it, you know what I mean? Like Rooster Teeth, who actually tried to hire me and or get me on their network or whatever, and I said no. And then there's a bunch of other companies or umbrella companies that they have, and actually they're one of the biggest networks on YouTube, or was, with 50 million views per month, and they've actually deleted 10 years worth of content over the past 2 or 3 months. 10 years worth of YouTube content at 50 million views per month. That's some nice bank. Yeah, I'll take that money. Jesus. Anyway, sadly the layoffs are unfortunate reality in the gaming industry and beyond, with perhaps the shutdown of Telltale Games being the biggest hit to hit the gaming world recently. Now it seems to be being followed by machinima, a prominent content creation channel back in the early days of YouTube as a multi-channel network, has begun laying off employees and ceased operations. Purchased by Warner Brothers in 2016, machinima long run has ended with it being folded into Otter Media, which is another umbrella corporation. It's like the head one, and then it'd be underneath that, which also runs notable media entities such as Crunchyroll, VRV, and Rooster Teeth. Oh, okay, so it's okay, so yeah, they run Rooster Teeth as well, apparently. Okay, for those paying attention, however, the writing's been on the wall for some time. Machinima deleted over 10 years worth of YouTube videos back in January 2019. That's sad, man. Hold on, guys, let me just no, there's no sound coming out of that. I was worried there's another advert going to pop up. Since then, 81 approximately of 100 employees have been laid off effective of March 16th. This is due to California worker adjustment in framing notifications of the WARN Act that requires advance notice of massive layoffs. Among those who remain is Russell Aarons, general manager of machinima, first appointed back in 2017, according to a machinima spokesman. Basically, a law came in that particular state I think it's just that state, or maybe it's US, but the state where you have to give people a 2 month warning that you're going to lose your job, get your shit together, and you have to find another job and everything. And that came into pass, and that's why they would have been laid off sooner. But 80 something employees out of 90 or whatever, or 100, sorry, that's a lot of layoffs there. A select number of Machinima employees remain with the company, which is now actively providing services to supercharge the combined portfolio of Otto Media. Machinima has ceased its remaining operations, which include layoffs, Russell Aaron, blah, 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 transitional period activities. Okay, so and is assisting the transitional activities as she explores new opportunities, whatever. Following this announcement, Otto Media has released a statement insisting that Machinima was not dead, as the company was brought over valuable parts, I think that is, of the Machinima business through its that primarily seems to be an issue for Cosmetics. Machinima will no longer be a YouTube-centric consumer-facing brand that many have come to know and love. Well, does the article go on? Oh, and although Machinima was not without its fair share of controversial, it also once touted 2 billion monthly views. I thought it was 50 million. 2 billion monthly views with a strong 200 million plus audience for many years. This is the end of a chapter of their life, not unlike the closure of strategy guide company Primal Games. It doesn't seem like the Telltale Primal or Machinima will be the final casuals either, as the gaming world evolves, changes faster than some other industries. Now, this is just a media company. Well, they're saying they're going under, but they've fired 81 employees or whatever. But they're still going to be around doing something else. I don't even know what that is. But at the same time, I'll be honest with you. I might be subscribed to Machinima, but I don't actually watch their content. I just don't. I don't bother going back there. It's just one of those things. And then I don't even know. I mean, I know they do video game content, but other than that, it's just on YouTube. I don't pay attention to their website. I don't go to their any. I don't know what they do or whatever. You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't participate in their business or whatever. You know, I don't go to them for news or anything. So, or entertainment. So you take them off YouTube and you're basically deplatforming yourself. At least I feel to the mainstream, because there's over 3 or 4 billion people. I think it's 3 billion people with a YouTube account. That's nearly half the world's population. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they're not on all the time, but my God. So yeah, they have folded, and we have another sad story actually about layoffs. Now, this is crazy. I don't want to get too much into this. There's been some updates, I think, or I'm just giving you the gist of it. But Activision says Blizzard has no major new games coming in 2019, which is disappointing. The last thing they came out was with their mobile shit. They're trying to, they kind of insulted their own audience, which was a PC-based audience. Basically said, Diablo is on phones now. It's not on PC. Kind of, fuck you. Everyone's got a phone. Deal with it. And that's their core audience. A lot of people were pissed off. I remember talking about that about a month ago. However, in its quarterly earnings call today, Activision announced record income as well as layoffs for hundreds of employees. Its outlook for income in 2019 is lower, and part of that comes from Blizzard, which is apparently not be releasing any new significant games this year. So you've made profit last year. You expect it to be an underline of this year because you're not doing anything. So you lay off hundreds of your employees who you've worked to gather. In the industry in itself. I just don't understand that. And what were they doing then? This past few weeks, months, or whatever. If you're not coming out with anything new specifically, but downgrading their team, I just don't know. Because in future projects, you're gonna have to rehire people. So I just don't know how that's really working. Turning to Blizzard, we expect a lower financial performance. This year, Activision said on the call of 2018 benefited from the release of World of Warcraft Battle for Azora, whereas we are not planning any major frontline release for 2019. Blizzard apparently finished the last quarter of 2018 with softness in its game revenues that will take time to stabilize and return to growth. Well, obviously, ready for an optimistic spin? ? While these factors will weigh on Blizzard's financials this year, looking further ahead, Blizzard's pipeline of PC, console, and mobile content is richer than ever, and we expect a significant addition of development resources to accelerate the pace of delivery over time. So they're saying that money's going to be coming back in with the content that we've already got out there. They're saying it's rich in content. Well, I'm not seeing a new Diablo in fear, unless they've got one planned and they haven't said anything or it's already done. And even then, nothing's been said. Maybe E3 they might come out saying, but they said actually this year they've got nothing coming out. So I don't understand that. If they've got nothing coming out this year, what's going to happen next year? Is it a smaller team working on Diablo, or are they not bothering, or are they just going to continue with the mobile and just keep updating it and supporting it? I find that curious. Of course, everyone's upset and sad that they're losing their jobs. Of course, been at Blizzard for so many years. But the gaming industry has stepped in, and I like this kind of aspect about it. And they've said, look, you're very talented people, these other companies, and they said, we will take you on. There's jobs for you. Do not worry. You'll have a job still. We will take you on. I don't know, whatever those companies are, maybe Ubisoft, EA, who knows? And, So, yeah, so that's a bit something positive to come out of it, but I don't understand why they're doing mass layoffs. I know they've got nothing coming out this year, but that just doesn't make sense to me. A massive publisher like them, and they're just focusing. Maybe it's the fact they're focusing on mobile and one or two other things that they need smaller teams. So a lot smaller, it could be a lot better managed. You don't need all those people, and I suspect it's a massive downgrade. But considering you've made big profit and everything, and I don't know, it just seems a little bit disappointing. Maybe they're thinking in the short term, we get rid of all these lots of employees, we run this and get money, and then if we want to do something big, we rehire these people because they're keeping them on staff. Maybe it's just that, really. Let's be honest, probably just a business decision. But it's sad to see people lose their jobs nonetheless. So that's two incidents where people are losing their jobs now in this News Friday. So my apologies for that, but there you go. It's just the way it is. We haven't talked about really games, have we? Much, just to be honest with you. Now, this is an interesting story. This video's been going for 20 minutes, but whatever. THQ Nordic has a mind-boggling 77 games in development. That's right, THQ Nordic. This is crazy. Right. Now, let me read the article. Well, here's a headline we never thought we would write. THQ Nordic has an incredible 77 games in development. That figure's accurate as the end of last year, so it probably is even higher now. Given its recent acquisition of Kingdom Come Deliverance developer Warhorse Studios, among others. While it's possible this number may be bolstered by ongoing investment into existing titles like Dark Souls 3, it's still a phenomenal statistic. Okay, so basically right now, it's THQ Nordic is the head company, and it's got its acquisition, probably a load of other companies who are making games, and basically so they take a piece of that pie, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But 77 games with your name linked to it, that's pretty fucking cool. But what are those games? Are they mobile? Are they good quality games? You know what I mean? You just don't know. So we have to wait and see on that. We look forward to our most exciting ever year, said a jubilant CEO, Lars Wingforce. I'm not lying, that is his name. Lars Wingforce. Sounds like a fucking gamer name, doesn't it? By the end of the quarter, we had a record 77 games under development. 48 of these are still in the pipeline, waiting to be announced, including a few that are scheduled for release in 2019. The 12-month period ending the 31st of December, the Swedish publisher, Swedish, fair enough, saw its net sales increase by a staggering 713% year over year to $447 million. Although this jump can be directly attributed to the copyist buyouts, with purchase of Deep Silver being the largest driver. Nevertheless, with the organisation now having brands like TimeSplitter and Alone in the Dark under its umbrella, we're fascinated to see how much more it can grow over the coming years. So, we have a massive publisher, I don't know, or whatever, with 77 games. Now, my additional thoughts on this were, what kind of games are those? If they're going to be mobile, indie type games. But now I've just read they got the likes of Time Splitters and everything else. That's very exciting because they might be able to HD completely remake it, from the ground up. I'd love to see Time Splitters 2 return with a lot of other fans. Oh man, that's exciting. So 77 games. And like I said, it's not listed here what games they've got coming out, but that would be fucking awesome, to have Time Splitters and a bunch of other remakes. I know some of them will be remakes, some of them new, but also what I'm thinking is they're saying 77, so you've got to be thinking some HD remakes in there, some games for the PS4, fair enough. But also I'm thinking one or couple of those companies, maybe like 5 to 10, 15, 20, are working on PS5 titles. You just don't know. I'm saying that the PlayStation 5 is coming out 2020. That gives them the whole of this year, more or less, to be working on something and a bit more. Or nearly 2 years really, because what they might end up doing, if it is related to PlayStation 5, for example, is that they will work on it this year, and then the PS5 will be announced at next time's E3 or whatever. Not this one coming, but the next one. And then they will basically say well, that Christmas it's coming out, and they have a slew of games for it. That's what I think that is going to happen. I think that maybe Sony learned last time their lesson when they basically for the first year was shit for games. Second year wasn't that great. It was the third and fourth year that really started to pick up, and 2017, 18, especially 18 was really good for gaming, I feel, and this year's going to be good as well. I noticed that Sony will not be at this year's E3. I was supposed to talk about that as well, but apparently, I think I spoke about it in a previous video, but they're not at E3 this year, saying that they wanted to engage with their audiences in other ways. A lot of people criticised E3 and said, well, it's not really up to date. It's been going on for a long time, but it hasn't moved with the times or the rest of it. I still enjoy it. I still like the idea of all the games in one hub, the big show that I get to look forward to. And then this year, you're just going to have Xbox there, along with fucking Nintendo. Nintendo's good. People will watch it. That's fine. But I ain't got a Nintendo Switch or anything, so I'm not going to be really interested in that crap, to be honest with you. Plus, if you stream it, they copyright strike the shit out of you anyway. So I'm not going to bother engaging too much with that. But Xbox is really there to take the floor at this point this year, and rightly so, because I have faith. Well, I say I have faith. They're the only ones going to be on show, let's be honest. Maybe with a couple of other companies that are, showing off their game, who knows. But I don't know. I always like to see go head to head with Sony versus Xbox and see who does better. It's often been Sony that's been the better. I've actually enjoyed Xbox's last year. They won. I thought it was fantastic what Xbox was doing. Very exciting future they have with all the independent gaming companies that they've picked up over the past couple of months, and they will be putting games out on their console, so that's very exciting going forward for them with their next console generation especially. Having said that, I think if Sony isn't really working in the pipeline or have anything there too much, I think they're getting a little bit fed up, including myself. This is me, a Sony person, saying this. I'm fed up of hearing about Death Stranding. I've heard about that shit for the past 2 or 3 E3s, and I'm like, where the fuck is the game? Last of Us 2 is still out, and I'm like, what the fuck? We're just getting Anthem this month on February as well. I think it comes out tomorrow in the UK. It's already out in the USA. Also, it's my birthday this month as well, so I might be getting something there. I don't know. But yeah, it should be kind of interesting. But anyway, guys, I think that's about it for this week's News Friday. I will say something on my growing my channel. I've gained about 10-15 subscribers in the past few days. That's really, really cool. I do appreciate everybody. We're up to 2,051 subscribers. So thank you so much for everyone that supports me, watches my content, whether it be food, whether it be News Friday, whether it be FIFA Sims, whether it be gameplay. We have finished Mafia at this point, so don't forget to check that out on my channel. The final video went up yesterday, and then today I'll probably release, I don't know, either a FIFA video that I'm having a battle with a fan, or I might release South Park, I don't know, but either one way or the other, there'll be a gameplay video out today. And this weekend, I don't know, there might be a tip video for Monster Hunter, or I think Road to Glory does return. At the same time, I don't know about a food review this week. I have things, but I don't know if I really want to. Feels too soon to release them, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I don't know. I'm not too sure. I've got to think of something to be a little bit more creative with the food reviews and going to supermarkets and stuff and find some good stuff. I don't know, because I just feel that I'm doing lackluster stuff other than maybe the fast food here and there, and it is what it is. But oh well. whatever. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video and Most News Friday. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Links to donate to me via PayPal is in the link in the description below. And check out my merchandise. That link is also in the description for the 1500th time in every single video I've released over the past 4 months, 5 months. Check it out. Anyway, guys, I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.